I'm Justin Olson with
Abraham Bishop.
Shay Hunt Schreers.
Tanner Pip.
and we're a podcast.
Talking about mysteries. We're sponsored by LeBron James. You want a Sprite cranberry?
We're drinking so many clear drinks today.
Because clear drinks are good for you.
I guess it's true.
Nah, obviously.
Maybe that's the true mystery.
Why are your clear drinks so good?
Speaking of mysteries, we are about to talk about the 11 disturbing unsolved mysteries in Illinois that will leave you baffled.
Well, it's not just these. We're also going to be talking about things like Cairo, Illinois, and
A modern ghost town.
a modern ghost town, and also Jesse Donald Sumner, a serial killer based in Stanford, Illinois.
It's lit.
It's nice to know that that's kind of near where we're at.
It's fine. It was only in 1974.
Oh!
All right, let's talk about the first thing.
All right, well, the Airtight Bridge murder in Coles County. The Airtight Bridge hangs over the Empress River in the rural region of Illinois. It used to be popular spots for teens to get together and drink, and among other things. In October of 1980, two Urbana men discovered the naked body of a woman near the bridge. She was missing her head, her hands, and her feet. Just for extra flavor? I don't know.
I don't know if flavor's the right word. Well, I guess
For extra spice.
Just add, when you need to add some extra spice to your murder, just cut off some body parts. That's all you gotta do.
I mean...
A full investigation was conducted, but no killer was ever found. Fortunately, a major break in the case happened in 1992, which allowed examiners to find who this person is and have her name displayed on a gravestone and some closure for the family.
Did they find her head?
I don't think they did, but I think they just DNA tested her.
So. I mean, I guess, yeah, it was the 80s, so I mean, Bridge would kind of make sense for a local hangout spot.
I'm just kind of scared about the whole taking off the body parts.
I know, it's a little freaky.
So it's
just
too freaky.
it's like, hey, just like a random woman. No, this meant something apparently,
Yeah,
and
it's
body parts missing.
Like they could tie that to people if they found the fingerprints or footprints or
Anything.
head prints.
Yeah, but
Head print,
the-
blood splotch of head.
Exactly.
The forensics back then weren't too good.
Yeah, but you could still tie someone their fingerprints and all that. Even if they lost their head, there's a fingerprint.
I feel like it was just back in the day. It was just before they were able to do accurately do DNA tests.
Do not bring up the John Mulaney.
Okay, I knew you were gonna know exactly the second I was talking about. Because I was just back in the day, it's just oh, they just saw a pile or a pool of the victim's blood, and they couldn't go off that.
Blood.
Detective.
Good to know.
I found this piece of magazine from 2 years ago. Evidence, that's how it probably
It's
was.
a clue.
It's a clue.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Princess Diana was alive. Now she's dead. The clue.
She was killed by Dodi Al-Fayed.
Ah.
Cool.
Good to know.
This next one is called The Devil's Stone from Glen Island.
Yeah.
Island. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. In the mid-1970s, Gilbert and Trudy Woods unearthed a strange stone in their backyard that had odd etchings and symbols that included a serpent. Soon after, disturbing instances plagued them. Gilbert experienced a heart attack, and Trudy unexplainably went blind for 3 months.
Oh.
I'm going to see without my eyes.
And was later diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
I didn't even read it.
Once this happened, they offered the stone to a friend who also experienced creepy happenings. Lights that had turned off and on by themselves, and then bees that swarmed her home in the winter. Unfortunately, no one knows where that mysterious stone is today.
Cut that part.
So, mysterious stone made someone go blind for 3 months, apparently.
I think the solution to this is kind of obvious. Just get rid of the stone.
Get rid of the serpent stone.
Just sledgehammer.
If you're in possession of something that is possessed, get rid of it.
If you have
you'll be fine.
If you find a cursed stone in your backyard, don't keep the cursed stone, or you'll go blind for 3
honestly,
months.
I don't understand.
Wait, she only went blind for 3 months?
I think it was just for
3 months.
But
Just
that messes with your life.
And then she was just
man.
I can see again.
Yeah, she goes blind and she's like, I have lost my vision.
I have found
Gilbert,
the
Johnny!
Lord.
Gilbert! And then...
Oh,
He had a heart attack.
Oh no, she's blind!
But like,
Out of pocket.
I don't understand because when people find these things, like there was this doll that was possessed in like Maryland or something. No, this is like a
Like-
real
like
doll,
actual
like
thing.
an actual rag doll. They didn't like throw it in a fire and burn it. They just kept it and they locked it in like a case with crosses on it because God will save you. Like it'd be easier to just burn the, you know?
Oh god. Oh
My
god.
God.
Oh no. Ah!
Leviticus 3:16.
But God demonstrates His own love towards us.
Isn't that the answer you gave?
In that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8.
Just has a
Thank
Bible.
you, Abraham.
Amen.
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 The Burton Cave, Quincy, Illinois. In the late 1800s, a group of friends were picnicking near the cave when a storm sent them running into the cave for refuge. There they reported seeing a man dressed in a long, draping black robe and a dead woman all in white laid out among candles like a funeral. You better believe they immediately rushed out of there and reported their findings to the Quincy authorities, who ventured out the next day and found no trace of the robed man or the dead woman.
They should have joined.
Well, I think it's obvious what happened here. Drugs?
Um,
No, they were like, because people, were in cults and whatever back then. They believed in witches. So she was being sacrificed to Satan or some other like demon or dark.
I was gonna say the kids were just like out in the middle of the woods, like drugged out of their mind, and they just thought like, oh,
It was the 1800s.
Or it's like the Grinch appearance.
Yeah!
They go to see the Grinch, but like
They were probably prescribed by their doctor. Do crystal meth.
This is bad for you, kids. Don't do.
D.
Oh.
Don't do drugs. A. Don't have an attitude. R. I will respect myself. E. I will educate me now.
Basically, in conclusion, this could be anything from them just seeing boogeymen
Boogeyman.
The
Or-
boogeyman. Or a cult.
or drugs
Cult, drugs, boogeymen.
Yeah, or cold.
or all of the above. All right.
Ding ding ding.
Okay. Burroughs' findings, Richland County. In 1982, Russell Burroughs discovered a cave near his hometown of Olney. What he discovered in the cave was truly astonishing. Along with human remains, he also found gold artifacts that contained Egyptian, Greek, Middle Eastern, and other European words and etchings. Of course, Burroughs refused to show scientists where he found these awesome finds, and unfortunately the artifacts were said to be frauds. But until the cave is unearthed, we will never know for certain.
Mummy. Mummy.
So, like, what do you guys think? Because it sounds like treasure hidden in a cave?
I
maybe?
mean,
Hardy Boys?
could be, or someone somehow went into the middle of Egypt, dug up a mummy, and just brought everything with them to
yes,
but
the
as
middle
you do-
of the United States.
Middle of Illinois.
I
Maybe
think
that's where they're hiding the Sprite cranberry for like the other half of the year. Like you know how it's like only in November and like
Yeah.
December and like
That's
January.
where it
That's
is.
where they're hiding
That's-
it.
that's-
Other- yeah, 3/4
Forget
of the
like
year.
old European and Egyptian artifacts. Sprite cranberry.
Sprite
Every
cranberry.
other month of the year.
Every month.
This was like crafted like 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Very, very nice.
Very nice. Rich.
Fine
Year
wine,
2000 Sprite Cranberry.
But wait, what did it say about like body parts? Is it just
They,
like
they found human remains along with gold artifacts that contained Egyptian, Greek, Middle Eastern, and other European words and etchings.
Ah.
So like it was gold stuff that was
because like someone, I'm thinking of like the human. When I hear human remains, I feel like I don't know if that's like a whole body or if it's saying just like individual, like with the murder thing. Like they could have just like maybe what if they're connected? Those are the body parts, and that same person that murdered the girl.
What if
So-
those are all the body parts from these stories?
I mean,
We don't know. We
Also-
actually we don't know.
like alternatively, it could be someone who took all this stuff and hid it in the cave and then died before they could leave the cave with their
That-
treasure.
Yeah.
That does kind of make the most sense. 'Cause
Viking explorer or something.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because Vikings came to America first, before Christopher Columbus.
Leif Erikson.
Leif Erikson Day.
Leif Erikson.
The Watsika procession.
Yeah, Watsika. Yeah. Okay.
So, a 13-year-old Watsika resident named Laurency Venom found herself in the center of a spiritual possession in the late 1800s. it says late 1800s. This could be very superstitious. She would slip into and right back out of short comas and awake to tell people that she had communicated with people in heaven. Her parents sought professional help from Dr. E. Winchester Stevens. When he asked her to let a spirit take control of her body, she awoke telling everyone she was Mary Roth, a woman from Watsika, who died in a mental hospital when Lawrence was only a child. Lawrence had personal and specific knowledge of Mary Roth's life, to which he never would have had access.
Oh?
Drugs.
Why do you think everything is drugs, Tanner?
Okay, look, it's the 1800s.
Okay, look, coma. She's going in and out of comas and claiming to be a different person. Okay, so there are two possible answers. One, she was actually possessed by the ghost of this
Mary
dead chick.
Roth.
Or two, she had dissociative identity disorder and was just
Yeah.
really good at like guessing.
Or she had actually, since it was in the town, she could have, like, a 13-year-old will go adventure somewhere.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
She could have broken into a mental hospital and found records.
Yeah,
That is also true.
Stabby, stabby.
I figured it was more stuff like really personal things that even the people at the mental hospital
That's
might
also
not know,
true.
You know?
No.
It's possible.
I don't know, crazy people talk a lot.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's not,
That's what we're talking.
you never know what's true, what's not. So the next story we have is the Mad Gasser of Mattoon. Okay. Well, back in the 1940s, a small Illinois town fell victim to someone or something that was emitting poisonous gas into people's homes. In some cases, the gasser even made barricades to prevent the victims from escaping. People reported sore throats and nausea, and some people swore they even saw someone moving outside their homes at the time. While some theories point to an angry local medical students, they have never discovered who led this little hamlet into mass hysteria. Weirdly enough, the same gassing scenario happened a few years prior in Virginia. So,
Do you guys know who the DC Comics character the Sandman is?
yes.
Like the original one, Wesley Dodds?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Possibly.
he instead of like using brute force or anything, he'd go into places with a gun with sleeping gas in it. Maybe this was the inspiration. I
That
don't
could
know.
be the inspiration.
Also, could just be some dude that's just like I'm wondering like
Ether.
I'm wondering what happened with like the medical student. Like
Yeah.
he's like, oh, I have this great idea. Like picture this. Like you want to like make someone like feel sick. Yes, and it's like, no, we're not. You're crazy. I was like, I'll show them all, and just proceeds to like ruin the entire town.
Picture this. I rock my frick. Picture this.
Part 2.
I lock my grandma in her home, and then I fill her house with gas.
Wait, what year was this?
This was 40s.
The
Okay,
40s.
so like gassings had on a large scale had been
Oh,
occurring.
my God.
Holy crap! I didn't even think about that.
So we
Oh!
So was it a neo-Nazi?
Well, it would have been just a Nazi, really.
at that time it would have been.
Yeah.
An
Well, like,
American Nazi.
Alright. So talking about Cairo now. It's actually like a current it's like a lively ghost town. There's about 2,000 people that still live in the town, but like half of it is like abandoned. And it's kind of weird, to be quite honest.
It is. It's a little town. It's known as Little Egypt, mostly because it's named after the capital of Egypt, Cairo.
Yeah.
That would do it.
That would indeed do it.
Yeah. The main reason that Cairo became a ghost town is because it's on like the I keep saying
Cusp.
it's on the edge of Illinois and Kentucky, which during the Civil War, of course, Kentucky was a slave state. Well, it was like the middle state, I guess, but it still allowed slavery. And there was actually a slave camp in Cairo because they thought they could get away with it because they were in southern Illinois. And
They
kind
were
of
the
right on border.
southernmost state.
And they were like right on the edge. So
Mhm.
yeah.
And then there was a lot of racial tension between the people that didn't want the slave camp to be there and stuff like that. So there was just a bunch of killings. And like this, here's some live audio from Cairo, Illinois. No.
God. Okay.
Welcome back from that wonderful history lesson and live footage of Cairo, Illinois and why it became a ghost town. There's also another reason it became a ghost town, and that's due to what again?
The steady economic decline.
Ah.
Well, it can be traced to the local and regional changes back in the early 20th century. In 1889, the Illinois Central Railroad bridges were completed over the Ohio River, which brought a decline in ferry business. The immediate economic impact was not severe, as the railroad traffic was still directed through Cairo, and automobile and truck traffic increased in the early 20th century. In 1905, a second bridge was constructed across the Mississippi River at Thebes, Illinois. The effect of the second bridge was more severe, as rail traffic through Cairo was now reduced and railroad ferry operations were no longer necessary. As the steamboat industry was replaced with barges, river traffic had less reason to stop in Cairo. In 1929, the Cairo-Mississippi River Bridge was completed, linking Missouri with Illinois to the south of Cairo. In 1937, the Cairo-Ohio River Bridge was completed. Completion of the two bridges ended the ferry industry in Cairo, putting many people out of work. As the town was bypassed by two bridges to the south, it also lost the benefit of motorist travel and trade between the states. Motorists crossed the southern tip of Illinois between Missouri and Kentucky by completely bypassing the city of Cairo. While the city was protected by its levees from destruction when the Ohio River rose to the record heights during the 1937 flood, the city's economic decline continued from there, leading it to be a half ghost town, basically.
Yeah.
So
Basically, they weren't the Wolf on Wall Street.
Basically, they drove boats, and
No-
then
no more.
like
train.
Train.
When the train was invented, the United States was like, yeah, we don't need Cairo anymore.
as is usual with the state of Illinois, they had a pretty terrible economy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Like, we have
that's,
one of the highest.
that's not
tax
that's
rates
not
in
even
the
offensive.
nation.
That's
I
just
think we're
true.
in
Like, that's just true, man.
That's just true.
Moving on. Murder.
On the Orient Express.
No, in Stanford, Illinois.
Yeah.
Oh!
We're coming just a little bit closer to home, everybody, with some juicy murder stories in Stanford.
Jesse Donald Sumner. The only reason I know of this story is because my dad lived in Stanford when he was a teenager, and as teenagers do, they see an abandoned building. Obviously, they're going to break into it because that's just the reasonable thing to do.
As one does.
As one does.
Mhm.
We would do it too. We were about to do it for this podcast.
We were,
Yes.
but then we decided to sit in my garage.
at a poker table
Yeah.
and talk.
It's a lot more legal. It's a lot legaler.
Legaler?
Yes.
Also, I think someone lives in that house now. So,
Ah,
That'd be a
fun.
lot more fun breaking into then.
but
Let's hear some of this juicy story about the murders.
okay. So basically, 6 bodies were discovered buried in his garage.
Oh.
Yes,
Why in your garage? I feel like that should be like the worst. Like, oh, it's like.
he had a dirt floor garage.
Oh, that makes
Oh, okay.
sense.
Yeah, yeah.
He had a
He should
dirt.
have paved over that.
Yeah, he probably should, but it was also 1969.
Yeah.
Or like gravel or something.
I don't
Making it a little more difficult for the smell to get up. For the,
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, for the digging to happen. Like, you gotta think these things through.
Yeah, but Jesse Donald Sumner, he murdered some women because he wanted to murder women. He got caught because the stench, his neighbors smelled a stench, so they went to his house, like kind of sneaky, and they kind of found a mound in the garage, and they're like, oh, there's 6 bodies there.
Why would you make a
So-
mound out of it though? Like,
Just
Like how-
Not like sky
if
with
you
a
want to
valve.
get away with murder, you'd think you'd at least bury it flat.
I don't know. Ask the dead guy.
rather not, 'cause
Get what's
we
her
keep
name
filming.
from the other story? Like, get her like to
Yeah.
commune with.
Ah, yes.
Commune with the beings.
Commune with Jesse.
What
What was her name?
was her name?
Oh,
Lurency Venom.
Lurency Venom, commune with Jesse. So I think it's in conclusion, a lot of people died. So basically, when we were discussing the idea for this, we ended up talking about the mysteries of Illinois, and I was in a room where a bunch of other groups were talking, and one person ended up mentioning possibly going to abandoned places, sort of like our idea, but we're doing more mystery stuff and murders.
Yes.
And one of the things I heard one person say was, "Hey, what about the old gay conversion therapy camp outside of Atlanta?" To which I turned around and said, "Come again." And basically, apparently, somewhere outside of Atlanta, searching for it for about a good 30 minutes on Google Earth did absolutely nothing. There's apparently either is a existing camp that just had some really bad history like a few years ago, or something or other. There was an old conversion camp outside of Atlanta in some direction. Although when I did search up old conversion camps outside of Atlanta, Illinois, there were 2 that showed up. One of them was Napa Auto Parts. Don't know why Napa showed up, but also when we searched, when we searched up camps earlier, Paul Bunyan showed up, and also the water tower.
So we don't know what has been going on. Like,
Yeah.
we don't know what goes on.
We don't know what goes on, but like you can, when you hear the term gay conversion therapy camp, there's a few assumptions you can make.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like it's
because-
like how it's Napa Auto Parts.
The only information we have on it is this video that we found on the web. It's not great, but it exists.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
it's
I don't know.
interesting.
Let's roll the clip.
Yeah.
Christ. Okay, I think I got out of the camp. That was scary. Goodness. I think I'm safe though. Oh no. I'm not getting the chair! I'm not getting the chair! No! Fuck!
And we're back.
And we're back.
So,
Hello.
in conclusion,
We saw a lot of, we didn't actually see it, but we talked about a lot of dead people and a lot of weird things that happened in Illinois.
We found some interesting video.
Yeah?
We did find a few
Some
videos.
cool
We
audio.
drank
You know?
almost all the Sprite cranberry. Thank you for watching, guys. This was the Off the Block podcast. And if we might actually make more episodes because this was actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, whatever time you're watching this, you either have a good evening, morning, good night, or if
Mazel
you're just
tov.
not living, good death.
Catch you on the flip side.
The answer is clear. It's the
The
thirst.
thirstiest
time
of the year.